Hello, I'm Dr. Archer Crosley, and welcome to Real World Pediatrics. So today I want to talk about homework. Well, the amount of homework kids have these days is nothing short of amazing. Now, back in the 1960s, most kids spent most of their time outdoors after school. Nowadays, with all this homework, how could anyone possibly have the time, even if they did have the inclination to go outside? What's the point of all this homework? What are we trying to achieve? When did this start and when will it stop? Well, here's some facts about homework. The amount of homework kids have varies, but generally elementary school students might have around 10 minutes per grade level per night, while high school students might average 6.8 hours per week, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. However, some studies suggest that the amount of homework, especially for younger children, can sometimes be higher than recommended, leading to increased stress. No kidding. I mean, I see that all the time in my office. Now, here's a more detailed breakdown of that. You can look at that on the screen. The most important thing here is some research suggests that too much homework, especially for younger children, can lead to increased stress, lack of sleep, and less time for other important activities. So when it comes to homework, I've got a better idea. All work should be done in school. The only homework that should be done is if a child wants, to do extra. There should be no mandatory homework. Kids need to be kids. Instead of homework, the classroom must be the primary place where children learn. And the learning has to change to accommodate that. Now, if the child is engaged in school, they will want to learn and they will gain proficiency. Testing and homework is not the answer. If those were the answer, we'd have a nation of geniuses by now, and we don't. Engagement is the key. Now, if you'll notice, I've been speaking English for the past couple of minutes, and I'm willing to wager that you have understood everything that I've said. And yet, none of you, I'm willing to bet, have taken a test in English proficiency within the last couple of months. Nor have you been burdened down with a lot of homework in English composition. And yet you understand everything that I say. Now, why is that? It's because you speak English every day. It's fair to say that you're engaged in speaking English. My point is that learning and proficiency is best attained through use and engagement. And the best way to achieve use and engagement is when students want to engage. If you burden them down with hour upon hour of useless homework, they will come to hate learning and school itself. What kids need to know in school are the basics, not all this esoteric nonsense they're forced to memorize. They need to understand the core knowledge and the core skills that give them some facility in maneuvering around a particular field of study. And clearly, kids aren't learning the basics. Now, years ago, I was watching a program on television in which the interviewer was asking random people on the street when Columbus discovered America. And believe it or not, one lady answered 1942. Oh, come on, man. That would have made my mother, who was born in 1925, a Native American. Well, to be fair, maybe this lady got her numbers mixed up. But I don't think so. You see countless examples of people who can't even come close to basic knowledge. And yet we have even more homework than ever before. Let's look at basic punctuation. Any one of us can look on the internet today and see that commenters on various websites don't even know how to write complete sentences. They don't know where to put commas. They don't know where to put periods. They use run-on sentences. Okay, here's some negative effects about having too much homework. Too much homework can have several negative impacts on students, including increased stress, sleep deprivation, and a lack of time for other important activities like extracurriculars, hobbies, and spending time with family and friends. Research from Stanford University shows that excessive homework can also lead to physical health problems like headaches, exhaustion, and stomach issues. Here's a more detailed breakdown. I'll stress the negative aspects of having too much homework: increased stress and anxiety, sleep deprivation, burnout, physical health problems, poor eating habits, reduced time for extracurricular activities, less time for family and friends, limited time for hobbies and interests, counterproductive learning, loss of motivation. Now, the other point is this. Parents, they don't have the time at night to be spending hours helping their kids do homework. I remember when my nephews were going through their schooling in the late 80s and early 90s and how they were burdened down by school projects. I remember my sister and brother-in-law having to help their child build a catapult for a class assignment. Everybody in the frickin' class had to build a catapult. All the parents were running down there to Home Depot to buy stuff to build this stupid thing. And people were building these huge, huge catapults. What a waste of time. What parent has that kind of time? Now, if I were a parent, I'd be furious about that. So in summary, homework should be for extra credit. Try to get your kids excited about learning rather than engaging in hours upon hours of laborious homework that's ultimately punitive in nature. The child should be rewarded for doing extra, not downgraded. Now, after going through years and years of education, that's what I've come to believe. I'm not saying that kids should not read and learn on their own. They should. And they will with the right encouragement. Thank you.